Namaste, my name is Sequoia, and today we are going to focus on Moola Bandha and practices to strengthen our Moola Bandha. If you're not sure what Moola Bandha is, make reference to the previous video on bandhas. So find comfort in your seated position. You can maybe on the ground like myself or sitting on a chair. Allow the mudras to stay together. So we'll just use, for simplistic terms, we'll just use the chin or Jnana mudra, it's called. According to the Bihar School of Yoga, if the palms are up, rested on the knees, it's known as chin mudra. The palms are down, it's known as Jnana mudra. So find whatever works for you. But since bandhas, as we already know from the previous video, redirects our energy inside the body, mudras are the same. So we want to use mudras. Allow the heart to lift. Allow the pelvic floor to relax. Gently close the eyes and become aware of how you feel in your physical body. Notice any tension as you inhale. Let it go with an audible sigh as you exhale. Let's repeat this a couple more times. On the next in-breath, retain the breath for a couple of seconds. Allow your shoulders to lift and then release with a more audible sigh. As we bring awareness to the pelvic floor and our breath, maintain a long, deep breath and make it full so that as you inhale, the belly expands out like a balloon. As you exhale, the navel comes back in. So become aware of your ability to deep breathe, allowing the belly to expand out as you inhale. It rises up like a wave, and then it comes back down, and the navel comes in. As you continue this breathing practice, start to contract the pelvic floor. So the breath is remaining long and deep, and you're just contracting the pelvic floor. As you inhale and as you exhale, it's releasing. There'll be a pause after the exhalation. Allow it to be as long as your body wants it to be. And then there's a contracting as you inhale. There's a lift. It's coming up. You're feeling an upward motion of vibration. You're retaining it for as long as your body is allowing you to. And then there's a slow, like a flower unfolding, exhalation and releasing of the bandha, the rising and falling. Practice this for 10 more times. Relaxing the shoulders, keeping the chest lifted. And if you can implement Ujjayi breath on the exhalation, do so, which is the contraction of the glottis. to have a longer exhalation and inhalation. Keeping the whole body relaxed, both on the inhalation and the exhalation. And the contractions are just lifting, squeezing, and as you exhale, releasing. When you've finished 10 rounds, one round is an inhalation in, an exhalation out. That is counted as one round. When you finish 10 rounds, just simply sit as a witness to what you feel and where you feel. Notice how you feel physically. And then mentally, what is the state of mind? And any other observations that you might notice. Let us move to the second practice for Mula Bandha. This time, we're going to have a full deep breath in. And if you're not sure about your breathing, check out our How to Breathe Deep video. When you breathe in, this time we're going to retain the breath. And in the retention, how many times are you able to contract and release the pelvic floor? So right now, it is just becoming aware of where you're at. If you continuously practice this, you will then be able to see your progress. You can track it by how many you do today. If you did it every day for at least a month, you know that you will have a longer retention. So keeping the mudras together, lifting up the chest. Before we begin, let's just help to relax the body by releasing with an audible sigh. Lips are closed. The belly expands as you inhale. Retain the breath, and now allow the contraction and release of Mula Bandha as you continue to retain the breath. How many times are you able to do that? When you are ready to exhale, slowly keep the breath moving down as you release the bandha. Let's Let's try this for 6 more breaths. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. After the in-breath, there's a pause, and this is where you contract as much as you can. Then when you release slowly, like silk, soft, there is another pause. I invite you to see if there can be a longer duration in that pause on the bottom of the exhalation. Following your own rhythm and your own breath. Just feeling a long, deep inhalation. The shoulders are always relaxed, as is the face muscles. Let us complete one more round. When you are contracting and releasing, bring your awareness to Moola Bandha, which is where the Mula Bandha resides, to the lower region. Bring your awareness there. And imagine, sense, know that the energy of the earth is receiving more life force inside of you. When you fully release the breath, just simply observe to how you feel, first in the physical body, this is easily done by just a quick scan, just whatever you notice. Shift the awareness now to how you feel emotionally. Is there a dominant emotion that you might feel from this exercise? And shifting the awareness now mentally. How is your state of mind affected by this practice? And just simply letting that go. And the last practice that I will introduce for the Mula Bandha practices at this moment is retaining the breath and retaining the lock. When you exhale, release slowly with your breath, keeping the lock. So basically the lock is on the whole time. This is a practice that actually can be tapped into any time of your day. I like to remember this practice when I'm in a lineup. And sometimes there's that unresidual energy of impatience that people have in a lineup, and they're waiting. So when we have that energy of waiting, there's usually not a contentment. So in yoga, we strive to find contentment. This is known as santosha. So when we have contentment, we have presence. So when we have presence, we have contentment. So how to embody that in our life? And I use these different yogic tools when I'm in places where I'm challenged. And that's, I think, part of the tools. So when you're in a lineup and you catch yourself having that, oh, would they go faster? Okay, let's come back to the practice. Okay, so finding comfort wherever you are, keeping the mudras, lifting the chest, lengthening up, and let us go again 6 times, 6 long deep breaths. Inhaling, retaining the breath, retaining the bandha. As you exhale, allow Ujjayi breath to slowly come down as the bandha remains tight. Now it's in this time, it's in this place where you are retaining the breath, where the mind is like, well, what should I do? So you want to bring a focus to the mind. Because we're working on the lower region, I'm bringing it into the Muladhara, the first chakra, or the Mula Bandha. So bring it something to do. Give it something to do. Give it a direction. And where the mind goes, energy flows. So we can just simply make it happen there. So let's try this. Okay. Let's allow a deep breath in, releasing with an audible sigh, then closing the lips and beginning the practice. As you wish to deepen your practice, I invite you to count how many seconds it takes you to retain the breath. You might just use your hand and start to count, or it can be in your mind. Each inhalation is slow, deep and relaxed, as like each exhalation. And this is done through the use of Ujjayi breathing. If it feels uncomfortable to just retain the breath and retain the lock, then just as you retain the breath a little bit, just contract and release. For some people, the sympathetic nervous system is fired up and there's some fear of not being able to breathe. So really honor where you're at and then progress from there. Because this practice is not going to suit everybody. Observe whatever is happening in this moment. And slowly complete the practice, and then simply observe how you feel inside, what changes have occurred. Stay here for as long as you need to. Thank you. Namaste.